All right. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. I got my co-host Robert Benenati.
Hey, what's going on?
What was this podcast supposed to be? We just talked about it. Do you remember? Oh, yeah. Stop adapting to things you don't like.
Are you suffering from short-term memory loss or something?
I got too much shit going on here. So I threw this subject at him, and then he yelled at me and says, I don't do any shit I don't like. All right, tough guy. Let's get into this. You're telling me you don't do anything you don't like? Is that what you're telling? You go to the gym, you drag your ass to the gym. I don't know. I know you don't like going there, so don't bullshit me.
Well, that's why I'm not going. I haven't been there in the last, what?
Oh, you are a lazy piece of shit. You know this? No, but seriously, why do so many people do shit they don't like?
Because they think they have to fit in.
You think?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think they just get used to it.
Dude, if you don't like something, just don't do it.
Well, you got a lot of people out there that got to work, and you know what I mean? Nobody wants to work necessarily for someone else, so what are you going to do? You work for yourself. Easy for you to say, big shot.
Well, I think you'd be right on this one.
Tell me. It's interesting,
but
though.
But
we're not talking work. We get if you got to do what you got to do.
Certain things you got to do what you got to do. But, like, you know, to try to fit in and doing things that you have a choice between doing it and not.
Yeah.
And people tend to adapt and just blend in. Then if you're not happy doing it, then why do it?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. A lot of people, like, let's just say smoke cigarettes, hypothetically, or even drink too much. And maybe those are addiction issues.
That's
but
addiction, I think.
I do too. But I still think if, you know,
what I'm saying is this: if you have to, like, go to a party that you're invited to, and they're friends with, let's say, your girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
And you know that group, and you're not happy there, and you're like, then why go?
Yeah.
I would just say no. I won't go.
Yeah.
I'll tell my wife, you go. They're your friends.
Yeah.
Tell them I'm sick. Tell them I'm working. Tell them anything. But you go, have fun, do what you got to do. I'm not going.
I know we're selfish like this. I like this. I'm just kidding. But no, it's the truth.
Well, if she needs me there because...
If it's a wedding, maybe different.
Yeah, something like that, you know, or something that she needs me to be there with her. But if I have the choice not to go,
yeah,
I won't go.
Yeah, we discussed this too. A lot of people live where they don't want to live and keep doing the same shit over that they don't want to do with the people they don't want to do it with.
And then they ask why they're not, you know, happy or why they feel the way they feel.
It is crazy. And things they want to do a lot of times, not even in gym, like we're goofing around, but things that they actually want to do. It could be as simple as reading a book. We'll come up with every excuse.
Not to?
Yeah, and not to do it or not do it. But then say they don't want to go hang out in a bar somewhere or do something that they're normally doing, they'll find themselves there for hours doing that. You know, even social media would say...
What kind of people you know?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Facebook. Social media is maybe the king of that now. How many people say they hate Facebook, are sick of social media, including me and you? I'm throwing myself in this. Mm-hmm. Or just full of shit and spend... I don't do it anymore. I never really was that engulfed in it. I'm more interested in uploading content than looking at others. Mm-hmm. Bitch about social media and are on there constantly. What is this? Think they just feel like they're missing out on shit?
Well, for example, I'm not crazy with Facebook. If it's for business, I know how powerful Facebook is.
Sure.
Right? But I've have a lot of family that don't live near me, and they do use Facebook, and they post a lot of things, and I try to go in, scroll, and kind of keep up to date with what's going on. But then I'm out.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I'm not looking at other people's lives.
3-4 minutes, maybe.
Right? I look at, I try to scroll, see my family, see who's there, maybe close friends. Everyone else that I don't know that has their own shit going on, like, I really don't have time to...
I agree.
Figure out what you're trying to do or not doing, It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I've done a lot of podcasts, too, on you keep repeating the one thing you want to flee a lot of times. Like, you do something a lot of times over and over again. You're like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
And you attract it, yeah.
Yeah, but you leave it to go recreate it somewhere else. It could be even a bad relationship, right? Or it could be whatever. I don't care. I just see, like, say you like sports cars and guys are like bitching about them. These things are too much upkeep. They're too much money. Blah, blah, blah. They go to
Next
trade
week
it
they
in.
get another one.
They get another one.
No.
Right? Same with homes. I mean, you're in real estate. How many people bitch about not wanting to take care of a certain size home, the expense of it and all this? Then they'll go buy a bigger one.
That's a bigger one. Yeah.
What is wrong with us? I blame you. I don't know. It's quite interesting, right? Yeah, this is a wacky one. I forgot even what the original subject title was. What was it? We just said we were losing it. You just said we were talking about what the hell are we doing here? Oh, why do we keep doing things we don't want to do?
Why do we adapt to things we don't like?
That's exactly right. I also think, I'm going to throw this in there. I think we don't want to change our identity to a certain degree. So I'll just use smoking, for instance. Say
you think it's easier to just adapt and give in?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. A lot of times, like lately, I don't necessarily like smoking cigars. But if all my friends are like, hey, we're going to go smoke cigars, I'm like a child. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I'm 100% in. Let's go. Wherever it is. I don't care if it's by a pool. I don't care if it's by a place.
So the other day at my house, you smoke a cigar just because
that one was wonderful. That was a good one. The way you cut that, I was getting some big hits on that thing. But a lot of times I'll be, after the cigar, I feel like a piece of shit. I didn't feel like that with yours. But maybe even drinking that night, doing whatever.
I think that's more when we regret it, when something like that happens. Oh, I shouldn't have smoked, and now I feel like, I'm choking. Or I drank too much, and I'm not a big drinker. When it ends up hurting you, then you're like, I should have had not. But too late now, right?
Yeah, but when I was younger, I would tell everyone to piss off. I don't care if it was drugs, smoking. I would do a cigar once in a while because I started to do it a lot in my film because I wanted to. But I didn't care what they were doing. I can be in a premise where tons of people are doing drugs, tons of people are drinking, tons of people could be doing a lot of illegal things. I felt very comfortable there, actually. But it didn't mean I had to do what they were doing.
I said no a lot to that. I've been in places. I was raised in Brooklyn and bad times, and I had a lot of people just, sitting at places and just hand you, here.
Yeah, right, for sure.
No, thanks. I don't do it. That's fine, But I wouldn't leave. I didn't feel uncomfortable because I wasn't there for the drugs.
Right, you weren't there to judge everybody else.
No, I didn't care what you do. You do what you do. You know?
Exactly. This is crazy talk right now. This is really crazy talk, but we do see a lot. What breaks my heart a little bit, I have family members and friends that do want to make changes in their life. It could be even trying to get in better shape, or it could be just trying to get off certain drugs or just drinking or whatever.
And they don't?
And they're miserable.
Trying to get off, or?
Yeah, get off it. Especially drinking.
Because it's an addiction, and it gives them a high. It gives them the sense of pleasure, right? Now they stop doing it. Where's the pleasure coming from? You have to replace one with the other.
Yeah, I find people with certain addictions, and I think everybody has certain addictions. When you're miserable a lot of times when you're doing it, but you're kind of enjoying it. Then if you're not doing it, you're miserable. You're not doing it.
I think the people that are addicted to things are addicted to addiction. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that can definitely make sense.
So it's like you're an addict of something. It doesn't matter what it is, right? When you don't have that fix, you're just missing that addiction. So you go find another addiction.
I think I do that. And it's a form of insecurity too, at least me. So if I'm not writing a book, hypothetically, I'll just use that as a thing, and I'm not doing something else, something has to fill that void.
You're not addicted. We all look for pleasure. We all want to feel good.
Right.
We all want to feel happy. We want to feel good. We want to feel purposeful. We want to feel useful, right?
Yeah.
So when you're not doing what makes you, and you're a creative person,
yeah,
what sets you off, your trigger of happiness is being creative.
Yes, for sure.
When you create anything, when it's coming out of your head and you're spilling it on paper, on a computer, on however,
yep,
you're getting your high.
Yeah.
Right? So when you don't have that, when you feel you stopped, you came to a dead end and you're not creating anything, there is no happiness. There is no pleasure.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, for an addict, they're not creative people, maybe. I'm just saying, right?
Some may,
example,
some not. Right.
I'm just using that as an example. So let's say that addict is not creative, their only form of pleasure is that addiction.
Yeah.
That when they don't
can see
have
that.
it,
Right.
they become miserable.
Yeah.
You could be addict to the gym. You have to be in the gym 7 days a week.
Yeah.
There's people, few people I know that are like that. Don't, send them out on vacation and don't give them a gym for 3-4 days. They'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's their trigger. That's their pleasure. That's their fix. So everyone has a different sense of that, and you have to understand which is your pleasure.
Yeah. I call it yeah.
For me, it's the same thing. It's addiction. It's addiction. It's creativity. So if I'm not creating something, anything,
Yep.
it could be physically, manually, like in the garage, working with, doing carpentry work or whatever around the house. It's being creative in the business, ads, digitally, maybe a video. I have to always be doing, do something.
Yeah.
If I'm not, honestly, I'm fucking miserable. Like I start getting, in a bad, temperament or humor, and I need to go find something. My wife already knows me now. She says, "You're bored."
Right.
You're bored. You got to go do something.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I call it too getting lost in the craft, but a lot of times I find myself saying doing something, and I'm exhausted and burnt out from doing something, right? But then when I'm not doing it, I'm thinking about doing it, and I'm upset I'm not doing it. So it's like a never-ending
cycle.
Yeah. And I think we go through that with YouTube or even our podcast. Like, and also saying, you know what, maybe I'm doing it too much, then I do it too little.
You got to find that right
the
balance.
sweet spot, but I never find it because I'm either all in or I'm kind of all out. I think I told you that the other day. I think you're kind of more balanced with certain things.
No, I'm not more balanced. What I am is I got more shit on my plate. So I do take a break. So I want to do YouTube, but I can't right now because I'm doing this. But I'm going back to it, and as soon as I do it, I feel happy doing it, right?
Right.
Because it's not also a job or a must for me. I do it because I just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. If I'm doing a podcast, I'm enjoying it, but I don't have to do it, and I can't do it as often as I maybe want or full time because I have other things to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's the fact that I have multiple things going on.
Yeah.
That gives me a break. One over the other, and then I get back around to it.
You know, through this COVID, I can't speak for you, but me, because I've had so much time to just kind of lay it on the line again and just do whatever the hell I wanted to do. It could be with the YouTube, podcast, social media. It was kind of like saying, okay, do this all the time. Because before I was always working. It was kind of a little filler.
So let me ask you: are you missing? Do you miss traveling? Because you used to travel 3-4 days a week, right? At least.
Yeah, I used to travel a lot. It could be 180 days a year.
All right.
Up to 220.
Do you miss it?
Depends. I do. Here's the thing that I realized over the years. I loved traveling, but what happened was what I don't miss is traveling to places I don't want to go to or that I've been to numerous times that don't have an impact on me anymore. So this isn't a dig,
that makes sense.
Right? This isn't a dig, but I traveled all over North America.
But do you miss just getting on the plane and getting to a city and doing that?
Not necessarily at all. So I just did that for Chicago, and that's my home, and I love seeing my family. I went twice in the last 2 months because one was for a funeral, and then I had to go back to back. Right. The reality is, no, I dreaded it. Not when I got there and spending time with my family.
But the process, the journey.
The process, the airports aren't the same for one. Also getting there, nothing is the same, but going to get a rental car, it's 30 degrees. I kind of like the wardrobe change, and it's COVID, so let's call it for what it is. Nothing is open in Chicago. It's just empty parking lots. You can't eat in any restaurant. It's too cold to eat outside any restaurant, so I'm basically just sitting indoors. And it's also kind of a scary thing because me traveling, I can't go see my friends, and I haven't had COVID. So for me to travel, just for safety reasons, I don't want to go to their house necessarily. A lot of family members and friends that haven't had COVID. But even put that aside, I traveled to so many. I've been to wherever, maybe Paris I wouldn't mind going, maybe. But believe me, if I never went, I'd be fine. I've been everywhere that I wanted to go. But if you said, hey, Rich, let's go to Hawaii, I'm down.
You see, for example, for me in traveling, and we're changing subjects here. I don't know. We're going all over the place. But if I could go to Italy, and not to travel, not let me go for a week, come back. I want to go and spend 3 to 6 months there.
Yeah.
See, that I don't mind. But the act of traveling, I hate it.
I used to hate it too, believe it or not.
No,
I did too for a long time, but then I kind of mastered it. But no, you're right. Here's the thing too, back to doing things you don't like to do. A lot of people think they want to travel for work, that I've realized. Tons of people I've come across.
They think it's fun.
They think it's fun.
When
and
it takes a toll on them, that's when...
Most are drinkers that end up alcoholics. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, or they pick up bad habits. Could be even cheating on their wives or their girl, whatever the case may be.
Drugs or anything.
Because again, when most people think of traveling, they think, oh my God, I go to Florida, or I go to California, or I'm going to go to Hawaii, I'm going to go to Italy, I'm going to Europe. When you travel for work, you go to places, again, you don't always want to be, and you got to work in environments that you usually don't want to be in.
Right.
I live in the environment I want to be in. I always said I leave light, and most of the time, not always, I go into darkness for 7 months, let's say. I leave Florida, I'm looking at palm trees. I land in the Midwest, East Coast, even a lot of parts of Canada. It's dark. It's gray.
Yeah.
It's freezing. So
I lived in New York, and I said, I'm going to Florida. I'm going to be on a permanent vacation. And
yeah,
believe it or not, with the best beaches in the world that we have here, why travel out to another beach? Like, I really don't care to go to Bahamas, which I've been, or any island, or Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Why
I hear
do
you.
I want to travel when I get the best beach an hour and 15 minutes away from here? You know, and then again, traveling just to travel. It's like, I like cultural traveling.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I want to go to Israel one day, or, you know, see the pyramids in Italy, or, you know, place where there's history. More for the history than the traveling itself. But they're very, I think I count, you know, one hand. I mean, really the places I want to go to.
We live in a fortunate place.
Yeah.
You know, like my
Why?
family members, I just forget they're in Chicago, or they're wherever they're at. And they're like, all I want to do is fly there and sit on the beach, you know, for 7 days. And I'd even go meet them. I don't care if it was spring break with my buddies or whoever. I'm like, I'm an hour from this at any time I want it. They do this once a year or twice a year. It's just a whole different mindset.
If they do it once a year.
Yeah, it's kind of like
don't.
right. So it's like if you went to Brooklyn and you want Brooklyn style pizza, you know, you're going to eat it a couple times. Like, you know, they have access to it all the time. We don't. I'll take palm trees all day.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up there.
That was all about adapting or not adapting.
Well, I think what we're really getting down to is we refused to adapt originally at a very young age. We both did. I left Chicago. You left New York. We refused to adapt to our surroundings. And my friends still to this day, most of them that live in Chicago, I don't care. In Chicago, I don't care. If you're very wealthy, I'd leave just for me because you're freezing your ass off.
Why be there?
Yeah. If I'm poor, where am I? I'm going to leave there.
Why be poor and
Why
be
there?
unhappy?
Right? So, and everybody for the most part wants to leave their environment when they retire, when they're 70, 75 years old, and then they get, especially to Florida, like a lot of my older aunts and uncles that passed away, most of them, and grandparents, they get here and they're out of juice. And then they say, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah.
It's an interesting life. So, all right, check out Robert's podcast. We're always pushing this thing, Real Business for the Love of God.
Real Business Podcast. Yeah.
That's it. You could find it anywhere. He's famous. I think his numbers are close to Rogan's at this point. So, yeah, they're identical, I think. You may be beating him in the stats, I think, on... Anyways.
Unpopular vote.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. And you could find me wherever the hell you got to find me. All right. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.